Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. This is episode 307, as well as day 307 of my journey. At the beginning of the year, I challenged myself to run 365 days in a row, all outside, bearing the elements, whatever they may bring. I also challenged myself to run 1,500 miles within this time frame. Also within this time frame, I've challenged myself to run 2 races. One of those races being a 50K ultramarathon trail race. That was the Yankee Springs 50K trail race in Middleville, Michigan on day 156 of my journey. Was able to finish that race within 7 hours, 15 minutes, and 22 seconds. Now, the next race that has came up within this yearly time frame was the Detroit Free Press Marathon. I ran the Motor City Challenge within that race, which entailed me running the competitive 1 mile and the competitive 5K the day before the actual marathon. Ran that on day 289, and the marathon was on day 290 of my journey. So I ran that marathon, was shooting for a sub 4 hour time, and was able just to inch by with 3 hours, 57 minutes, 28 seconds. So I was really excited about that time. And as you can tell, today is day 307, and that race was on day 290, and the other race was on day 156, so I was able to actually keep the streak alive after both of those big mileage races. So let's actually talk about mileage for the day today, day 307. So for day 307, got out there, put in 5.1 miles for the day today, which put me at 17.1 miles for the week, which put me at 17.1 miles for the month, which put me at 1,376.5 miles for the year. So we are only 123.5 miles away from hitting that yearly goal of 1,500 miles. But we're going to quickly focus in on these monthly miles of 17.1. So every single month I challenge myself to run a 100-mile challenge, and I do it in honor of a charity in which I donate money to, as well as I try to raise awareness and more money for by starting a coinciding fundraiser throughout that month. So for the first 10 months of the year, I was able to raise money for 10 great charities. Now we're here within the 11th month, the month of November, and we are raising money for yet another great charity. November's charity is in honor of Movember. So if you would like to donate to this month's fundraiser, you can find the link to do so. You can find more information actually as well about Movember on the Defining Discipline Instagram or Facebook story, or my personal page's Instagram or Facebook story. You click on that link within the stories, it'll open up the donation page where you're able to learn a little bit more about it, as well as make your donations. Keep in mind that all donations that get made to this cause and fundraiser go directly to this cause and fundraiser. Facebook is not taking any portion or percentage of your donations. So everything that gets earned goes directly to this cause. I do know times are tough. Not everyone can afford to donate right now. And if that is the case and you'd still like to truly help out, the next best thing you could do is click on that share button. We are trying to raise awareness for this cause throughout this month. And the best way to do that is get as many eyes on it as possible. So if you are sharing it, it truly goes a long way in helping out this cause as well. And Movember, just to do a little backstory on it, it is about shaving a mustache. So if you'd like to, if you're able to have a mustache and you want to support Movember that way by having a mustache for the month of November, you can do that as well. Other than that, let's get ready to get into today's actual episode. But as always, right before we do that, we are going to do today's word of the day. And for the word of the day today, November 3rd, today's word of the day is lenient. Lenient means not harsh, severe, or strict. That is a good word of the day. We will probably revisit that. But for today, episode 307, day 307, today's theme and episode for today's episode is going to be increments. That is today's episode's theme. And I want to talk about increments because it is something that has truly helped me, get through this year. Um, to look back, not even just this year, but just when I first started running, I can give a lot of credit due to just increments. And what I mean by that is when I first started, I was barely able to even run one full mile, and at a decent pace without stopping or slowing down or any of that. Now I'm running huge races. I've ran every single day this year, and it all started again with increments by slowly building up. And at first it was just going for miles per week and miles per month and trying to. I know when I first started in late October 2019, I was trying just to hit 100 miles before the new year 2020 started. And that took 2.5 months. So I was barely, if I was lucky, putting in 15 miles a week. That was insane. So I was just trying to hit. I had that first goal, just slowly building up incremental, building up in increments. And this year it has truly helped me out as well. One thing that's kept me on track is breaking everything down into increments. I had originally had the goal of 1250 for the year, but have moved it up to 1500 with the amount of miles that I've been putting in. And I've already passed 1250. So, but having the increments of looking at it as, all right, 1500 miles for the year, breaking it down to how much I want to get in per month, and then breaking it down to, all right, if I want it to this much per month, this is what I have to put in per week for this month. And if I want to put this much in per week, this is what I'm going to have to average per day. And, I kept breaking it down and putting it into increments that way. So it seems and was a lot more obtainable. Now the incremental goal, for each week is a bare minimum usually of 25 miles. Sometimes I don't even hit that. Like last month wasn't it a couple weeks I didn't hit 25, but I put so many miles in. The weeks prior to those weeks towards the end there that I was still able to hit a good monthly goal of 115 miles that month. But I've been really trying to average like 125 miles a month. And some months been able to, July I was able to hit 200 miles that month, which was insane. I think that was the biggest feat I had all year, truly. In this month, I want to put in a good mileage for this month as well. Maybe not exactly 200, but 180 or something. That seems like a good step up to try to push towards, especially looking to 2022, looking for that 50-mile race that I want to enter. I really would like to up my mileage per week to at least be 50 miles. So when I'm going out there to put the 50 miles in, my body will at least be somewhat adapted to that many miles, at least for a week. But like I said, and it all starts with increments. It all starts with looking at, breaking it down to the months, and then breaking it really down to the weeks, and then down to the days. Even with that, I could break it down to the days, and I could break it down to even time, because I know what my average time is being out there putting in, 6 miles. I can get it done in under an hour. So I just, round it off to roughly an hour, and I try to figure out how much hours I'll be putting in. So, but it's really breaking it down into increments and attainable increments that have truly helped me out and progress throughout these years, from going from barely putting in 1 mile to doing 31-mile races. It all started with increments and slowly building up in increments. First giving myself that monthly goal And last year for 2020, I had the yearly goal as well of hitting 1,000 miles. Um, so that helped as well. I kind of, again, still built up in increments, but I was a little bit more sloppy with um, building up throughout that year. Um, kind of really fell off there in July and August. In September, barely made it through October, and then I really had to pick up some slack in last November and December just to make that 1,000 mile for the year mark. But again, I helped. It helped when I was in November and December, knowing, all right, I have 250 miles I have to get within these 2 months. So as I broke it down to, all right, well, that's 125 a month. So that means I'm going to have to, average at least right around 33, just over 33 miles per week. So it was very more obtainable for me to break it down that way and look at it that way, and just slowly build on that. So one thing that has truly helped me out throughout this year is, again, working on myself incrementally by just doing it in increments. Starting off with, so many miles per week, pushing it slowly. That is something that if you're going to definitely be doing running, something I have to really stress is you do not want to push yourself too fast. So you want to go in obtainable small increments. The faster you push yourself, the more injury prone you're going to be. I did find that out as well in 2020 by pushing myself a little too hard, too fast a couple of those months. So, this year I've been, again, breaking everything down in increments, knowing I'm going to be running every single day, knowing how many miles I want to obtain each week, knowing how many miles I want to obtain for the month, how many miles I want to obtain for the year. I got everything kind of broken down. And again, I made sure where, yes, it's going to be a challenge, but it's not going to be completely out of reach because it's such an insane challenge. I've broken it down into increments that are completely obtainable but still challenging. And that's pretty much it, guys. So for your daily discipline today, it is to do the same. It is to set some goals. Doesn't have to be necessarily running goals, whatever your goals may be. Have these goals set and attack them incrementally. Maybe tell yourself, this week you want to get so much done, and next week you want to get so much done, and just keep working and working and working. And each time, add just a little bit more and more to your plate until you've just built yourself up enough to handle more than you ever thought was possible to begin with. So that's your daily discipline for the day today. Other than that, thank you so much for following along and listening. 307 days, 307 episodes. It's insane to even think about. But we are here getting closer and closer to closing this year out. So really excited about that as well. And just continuously pumping out these miles. Really looking forward to this weekend, thinking about going out and getting a big run in on Saturday. So that's going to help the incremental mileage for this week and attacking this month. So really looking forward to that. But other than that, thank you guys so much again for following along and listening. If you guys can, give the podcast a like, a subscribe, a follow, a share on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and whatever podcast streaming platform you've been following along and listening on. This is the Defining Discipline Podcast. I'm your host, Scott. This is episode 307. Make sure you get your daily discipline done. If you guys can, get your donations in for the month of November's 100-mile challenge, which is in honor of Movember. And other than that, share the fundraiser as well. Like I said, stay disciplined, get your daily discipline done, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for episode 308. And until then, peace out.